Good evening. Welcome to the Pearl Report. I'm Diana Lin. Typical Hong Kong parents want their kids to excel academically, starting at preschool level. But they're often frustrated by the arduous local curriculum with endless exams and mountains of homework stressing students out. International schools, though, that are considered less of a pressure cooker, are out of the financial reach of many households. As producer Zhao reports, more parents are opting to educate their kids by themselves. What are the benefits and pitfalls of homeschooling in Hong Kong? In 2014, when Gordy turned 3 and poised for kindergarten, Esther Chu chose to homeschool her second son on her own.
They have a lot of good school, but very expensive. Good school, which is not that expensive, and there are loads of people lining up to join. I don't want my son to go through too much interviews.
Esther homeschooled her eldest son, Ethan, as well for 3 years, until he entered an international grade school in 2013.
Actually, I live in a place where I have a very nice environment.
The Chus live on the premises of St. Stephen's Society in Sha Tin, where Esther works in teenage drug rehabilitation.
I have a few co-workers who have sons like my son's age. So we thought maybe we just do our own little group here. 8, 9, 10, okay, catch me! People go to kindergarten, it's a kid's garden. It's not supposed to be a school. They don't need to learn a lot of knowledge like addition, subtraction, multiplication. They should play.
I'm so glad to see you. Good morning, everyone.
About 4 years on, Esther's home kindergarten group has grown from 4 to 10 families. They named it Go Kids and gather 3 mornings a week.
We create our own curriculum.
There's singing and dancing, free play, sensory play.
Because kids learn through touching, hearing and seeing, so which also help them for their coordination, gross motor skills. So we try to find activity which fits their needs.
Vocabulary in Chinese and English.
They learn how to speak appropriately, deal with conflicts, but it's fun.
Art.
I love the creativity. I love that they can just paint and mess around.
Esther has a Facebook page, My Children Do Not Go to Kindergarten, where she shares her personal and Go Kids experiences. It has over 16,000 likes. Parents have left messages in the hope of joining the activities.
That reflects that a lot of parents are looking for an environment that kids have less stress. As I talk to more parents, if they seems like no choice because they don't put them in this nursery, they cannot go to this kindergarten, and then they cannot go to this primary school.
But Esther says she's open to the idea of Gordy attending regular school, maybe an international one like his brothers.
After 6-year-old, he is ready to take some challenge.
Homeschooling is legal in some 30 places, including Singapore, the Philippines, Taiwan, the US and Britain. But not in Hong Kong. Parents are legally bound to ensure their children aged between 6 and 15 attend school regularly. The Education Bureau says,
the school provides a more balanced and structured curriculum, as well as extracurricular activities and opportunities for interaction with peers and teachers, all of which are essential for all-round development of children.
The Education Ordinance states,
the EDB would not approve homeschooling in place of formal school education, and there is no application procedure for homeschooling. In case parents insist not to send their children to school without reasonable grounds, an attendance order will be issued.
In the past 5 years, 2 attendance orders were issued. The 2 children have resumed regular schooling.
Can you repeat?
Funnel.
Cut.
At 8, Carl would be attending primary 2. Purdy started teaching her son Carl at home a year ago. She told the EDB her reasons and submitted her study plans for Carl.
At
school, students chase after curricula because there are too many things to learn in an academic year. Homeschool is very flexible because you teach your kid according to learning ability and speed.
The Bureau didn't issue her an attendance order. It sends officials to her home regularly to monitor Carl's progress. Purdy's is among 30 out of 100 homeschooling families being monitored. The rest is working below the radar for fears the authorities would insist their kids go to regular school. When Carl entered primary 1,
I quit my full-time job, so I had plenty of time to be a parent volunteer, and I saw what laid behind the scenes. Most of the time in class, the teacher talks while students sit and listen. Teachers don't welcome questions since they hamper the teaching schedule. Those who ask many questions are regarded by teachers as troublesome kids.
Tensions heightened at home as Carl's homework load mounted.
At home after school, I gave him an hour's rest to do whatever he wanted until 5 p.m. From 5 p.m., he had only 4.5 hours to do his homework, have dinner, prepare for dictation. Sometimes he had online exercises to finish, and he needed free time as well. Actually, 4.5 hours is insufficient, very rushed. When it comes to homework, I think many parents get agitated. Very often the pet phrases are faster, faster. Why don't you finish your homework quickly? Our relationship grew worse.
都辛苦㗎，每一次返到屋企都要默書，又要做好多功課，最多12樣咯。9點或者10點半先可以瞓覺咯。我會喺台面嗰度瞌着咗咯。
In homeschooling, Purdy used the primary school textbooks she'd already bought for Carl.
I know the mainstream schools will have these subjects. I can refer to them in what I teach Kyle. I don't follow all of them.
She also has Carl doing test papers from friends with kids in local schools and a tailor-made daily schedule.
Before lunch, it's usually academic courses, including Chinese, English, and maths. I might add general studies, watching the news, watching educational TV, etc. In the afternoon, it's usually free play or free time, such as outdoor activities or farming.
喺學校通常會點咧？下晝咪又係中英數、中英數。媽咪問：你想唔想返學？如果你諗住homeschool 就同我講，我話我唔想返學，我爹哋都會支持嘅。但係我公公就話：不如你返學啦。我話：咁我因為 homeschool 可以都學到更多嘅嘢啊，會開心過以前返學嘅。因為homeschool 可以做到12點就可以 free play， 想做乜就做乜，睇下 LEGO 啊，玩下車，然之後喺個電腦嗰度做一啲練習。
Many worry homeschooled kids have little chance to interact with peers and develop social skills.
有陣時都會約佢哋出嚟㗎嘛，咁咪可以見到佢哋一齊玩啊，踢下波啊，玩下單車嗰啲，玩下捉基因。喺露營我都會識到啲大哥哥姐姐，又會同佢做朋友。
反而我覺得嗰個認識。
I think their social network is broader. Homeschooled kids actually meet children and adults of all ages. We often hold events for hands-on learning experiences.
On this day, Carl and other homeschoolers visited a brand new creative technology workshop where kids learn DIY skills.
The most important is to foster their self-learning abilities. When you know your interests, you'll squeeze the time to do it, no matter how hard it is.
Purdy also takes Carl to farming classes every week, a topic not usually taught in normal school.
咁呢度我哋有有4棵番茄，跟住其他嗰啲蔬菜。落肥嘅時候咧，啲肥料咧黐住個根啦，定係離開佢少少咧？你覺得？
Purdy posts invitations every week for interested families to join Carl's day with her on a farm. They went to Yuen Long on this weekend. Besides weeding and planting, the kids can play football or ride bikes.
Being homeschooled, the biggest change for Kyle himself is to be more relaxed and happier. If he stayed in a mainstream school, he might not have the time to uncover what he likes.
After the break, the older they get, the harder it gets.
I'd wonder, is this okay? Is he okay? But then you're a school teacher. You should know your subject beforehand.
Can homeschoolers ever get used to regular school life?
I was really excited to go in there, but as time went by, I realized a lot of focus was still on exams and homework stress.
That and more when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Pearl Report. Parents who opt to homeschool their kids face an uphill battle as their children get older. The subjects become increasingly advanced, and transitioning to a high-pressure normal school proves most challenging. Pang Zhao. Home for 15 years now to Canadian Chantal Phillips and her son Leith, who has always been homeschooled.
I was happy for him to be home at the kindergarten age because I think this is a good age for children to be exploring outside, to get dirty, to enjoy, to make a mess. When else can we do this? You know, after that time is finished, okay, now, okay, we have to get more serious.
When Leith turned 5, Chantal notified the Education Bureau she was homeschooling him. From then on, the Bureau sent representatives every 3 months to interview and assess Leith until he turned 15.
In meetings with the Education Department, they could also see that my son was being educated, that my son is he's healthy, he's happy, he's balanced.
Chantal, a single mother, is an energy healer by profession. She has a university education. Academic subjects became increasingly difficult as Leith reached secondary school level.
What if I don't feel completely comfortable about teaching at a secondary level? I can be very self-critical. I'd wonder, is this okay? Is he okay? You should do that if you're a school teacher. You should know your subject beforehand. What you need to do, though, is to be ready to learn, to have to do your own homework.
In preparing teaching material, Chantal bought textbooks and referred to the online syllabus of the Clonlara School in the United States. She made sure Leith has much exposure to his favorite subjects, history and biology.
A lot of my courses are online. There's students all over the world and we can all discuss together about it. And there are actually there's sort of like teachers of the subject that are also there. So it is not as interactive, you could say, like as school, like where you can just directly ask, but there is still discussion. After like a few hours, my mum will check on me to see like, all right, what have you, like, have you actually been paying attention? What have you learned?
Any child going through schooling will be taught by a range of teachers who would normally have subject knowledge in each of the different key learning areas, and also pedagogical training to create constructive learning experiences. If a parent is looking at the homeschooling option, they have to find ways of compensating.
I found that as actually time passed, I've become much more relaxed because I've seen the results. Because I want my child to be happy, to be kind, to be a productive person in society.
Chantal says she did seriously consider sending Laith to a regular school.
Schooling should benefit the child. I'd always ask Laith, I mean, once a year, whenever we'd have a couple of months before the start of, I guess, the new school year, do you like to check out some schools? He would just say, for what? Why? It wasn't something he felt he was missing out on.
All my friends are really stressing out and complaining because all these tests are coming up. So when they come home from school, they're still studying. I'm not really great at handling that amount of stress. My brain just sort of stops, which isn't the best sort of thing to do when you're in school, if your head stops working. But where I'm at home, it's much freer.
Laith made friends from activities with other homeschooled children and from extracurricular activities such as archery and drama classes.
My mother complained that I had too much energy. She said I should channel it into something productive. So she suggested acting, and I think I've been doing it for 4 years.
He learns well when he's excited about things. He was evaluated as being a kinesthetic learner, which means he learns by doing. If he just reads books, can't visualize this.
Chantal also teaches Laith through cooking.
With something like fractions, this was a nightmare for him because he couldn't see it. And so the cooking was great for him because you have to measure everything. So he understood, you need that sort of math in the kitchen.
This hands-on method paid off for Laith. He now wants to convert his love of cooking into a career as a chef.
Everyone keeps asking me, and my friends are talking about it, what are you going to do when you're going to grow up? Would you have a plan? Are you going to be this or that? And I really enjoy doing cooking. And it slowly sort of grew on me. So instead of it just being only my job I'll do there, I would be doing stuff at home. And then just sharing my pastries with people. And then it sort of got me thinking that I could actually really go into this as a career, since you should always really do what you love.
He plans to go to Canada next year for an apprenticeship with a pastry chef. Currently, he's preparing to apply for a high school graduation certificate for homeschooling from Clonlara School.
I really do prefer homeschooling. A lot of my friends feel like the parent is bothering them when they try to talk to them. They don't want to interact. Where I'm with my mum almost most of the day. We talk, we interact. She knows me well.
All
right, you just gonna leave your pasta there?
Just leave it, it's fine.
When Molly Highfield was 5 years old, she and her younger sister went on a cruise for 4.5 years with their British dad and Chinese mum. They were homeschooled, mostly in English, throughout the journey. Back in Hong Kong, Molly was put in primary 5 in a local school.
The most difficult thing about that was definitely the Chinese level. My writing and reading wasn't quite up to par with my classmates. P6, I managed to catch up, not amazingly well, but acclimatized to the culture, and I made quite a few friends.
She went on to a Band 1 secondary school.
I was really excited to go in there, but as time went by, I realized a lot of focus was still on exams and homework. It got really hard. I'd have to stay up late to do homework. At the worst, I'd go to bed midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then get up at 5:30 to finish the rest. And in the end, there wasn't that much time left for me to do what I wanted to do.
Which is sailing.
The longer I spent in school, I felt like the less likely I would be able to become competitive as a sailor because I simply didn't have the time to commit to it.
So Molly withdrew from Form 1, returning to homeschooling, and won in several international regattas. She also developed a passion for music. She admitted, though, she lacks peer pressure.
A lot of resources are online. Sometimes my parents don't have enough time to teach me. I really have to try and push myself to be diligent, because sometimes it's easy to slip into a state of procrastination, and because there's no one around you to compare yourself with.
Being part of teams, whether it's sports teams or learning to run school societies, taking part in group projects, these are all very useful learning experiences. They will not naturally occur in the homeschooling settings. How do homeschooling parents create similar opportunities? I think that's one part of the challenge.
Now aged 16, Molly is preparing for A-level exams. She wants to apply to university in Spain.
I do miss being in a school environment sometimes. When you're homeschooling, you don't have as many people you can talk to say, proofread your essay or point out some issues with your project. It's not too hard to find people with similar interests, but it is very hard. Academically, it's very hard to find someone who's actually doing the same projects as you.
Few teenagers continue homeschooling, and everyone learns different things. Backgrounds and academic subjects differ. How to get group learning on academic subjects? It's hard to coordinate.
Cam also homeschooled her younger daughter until she entered a secondary school specializing in creative arts last year.
Hong Kong's education system offers limited choices. It makes people think success means getting good grades in exams and good degrees in university. Homeschooling gives her space to develop herself, and not for others' expectations.
Each kids are different. I cannot say every kid must go to primary school or homeschool is better for kids. We should have diversity for education, for different needs of the kid.
Some children do very well in mainstream schools, but one system doesn't fit all. In my case, I wanted to find alternatives and finally chose homeschool.
Both sides have to be good with it, the parents and the child. If the parents aren't happy, if homeschooling isn't a good fit.
We never promote homeschooling since we think it is a personal choice.
I'm quite happy homeschooling. Being homeschooled does give you the opportunity to think for yourself and think outside the box, that you have to work hard at it either way.
Well, thank you for watching our show. It will be re-aired on Monday and Saturday, as well as on tvb.com. Until next time, from the Pearl Report team, good night, good luck, and good health.